With an HLOOKUP function, you enter the data, like the grading scale or the product list, into a separate worksheet list, just like VLOOKUP, and you have Excel refer to the list when searching for a value to return. This way, you don't have to type it all into a long, complicated if function. Now, HLOOKUP stands for horizontal lookup, and you can use a horizontal lookup when your lookup list contains your data in rows. Now, here's the way that it works. HLOOKUP searches for a value in the top row of a lookup list and returns a value in the same column from another row in the table array. Here's the difference. VLOOKUP looked for an entry or looked for data in the first column. HLOOKUP looks for data in the first row. Okay? The HLOOKUP function breaks down just like VLOOKUP. HLOOKUP stands for the name of the function. The lookup value is the value that you're looking for in the first column of your list. The table array is where your lookup list is stored. The row index number is which row number contains the entry you want to return. Remember, the lookup is always in row 1, so it's either going to be 2 or greater than that. And then the range lookup, true or false. Again, true is a close match, false is an exact match. Now, let me show you how this one works in Excel. So I'm going to use the same worksheet that I used for VLOOKUP for HLOOKUP because they really are very similar. The difference is how your table array is laid out. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this time HLOOKUP to find the cost for paper clips. So I'm going to start with equals, and I can just type HLOOKUP. Now with VLOOKUP, we did it using the function wizard. This time I'm going to try it using the formula, left parenthesis, and the lookup value is D5. So I'm going to go to my lookup list and look for the word paper clips. Then I'm going to put in where my table array is, which happens to be on the data source tab. This time in cells G2 through K4. See how it's a little bit different. My items in the vertical lookup, my items go down the left-hand side in a column, but in a horizontal lookup, they go horizontally across the top. So that's in there. Now I'm going to click back in my formula bar because I need to. I learned from my mistake in the vertical lookup. I need to make these absolute cell references by pressing F4 so that when I copy it down, it always looks to the same list. Then we're going to put in a comma so we can go to the row index number. Well, cost is the second row, so just 2 in there, followed by a comma, and then I'm going to do false for an exact match, right parenthesis, and press enter. 5 cents. If we go to the data source, we can see that the cost for paper clips is indeed 5 cents. Now we'll do the price the same way. So in the price column, equals HLOOKUP, and if you paid attention in the last lesson in VLOOKUP, this is old hat to you by now. The lookup value is D5, followed by a comma. The row index number this time is 3 because price is literally in the third row in my table array. Oh, I'm doing my table array, not my index number. Let's take that back. D5, then the table array. It's a good thing I have this little autocomplete helper down here telling me exactly what's next, right? So my table array, which is data source, G2 through K4. Going to come up here to my formula bar, switch those to absolute, followed by a comma. Now I can do my row index number, which is 3, literally the third row, followed by a comma, and then I'm going to choose false for exact match, end it with a right parenthesis, press enter, and 13 cents. So now I should be able to easily copy this down to all other entries in my list. And I'm pulling the same error that I did in VLOOKUP for pencils, and that just means that on the data source there is no pencils entry. There is a pencil entry, but there's no pencils entry. This time, instead of changing it on the list, I'm going to change it over here in my table array to pencils, pop back to my VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and you can see now the pencil's cost and price is filling in. So it doesn't matter where you make the change as long as it's in one of the two places because I put false in there, it's actually looking for an exact match for the product name. Now in the next lesson, we're going to look at dsum, which is a great function when you're working with large lists of data.